who's winning? Rolly versus Teofimo.
Teofimo gonna smash that dude.
Okay. Tell me.
I don't even know why they made that fight, man. They giving Teofimo another title, man.
Wow.
I was leaning towards Rolly in the beginning, right? But now I'm switching up, man. I like what I see in Teo, man. And I think him having the conversation with his father is gonna make a difference in the camp and what he got to do going into that fight against.
Teofimo Lopez versus Rolly. I'm going to tell you, Rolly is going to be right for that fight. The only thing that scares me on Rolly's side is that Rolly, financially, is secretly well off because of, I told you, dog, his brain, the investments he's made. So that's my thing. When you start really being more than financially secure, does that take away from your animal a little bit? Now, here's my thing. With Salas as his coach, bro, and plus, he has a deceptive way about his being where he has a high IQ, but he acts like he doesn't. The fight is
rocking with Rolly. I think Rolly gonna win it. It's a fight that's for Teofimo's future. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna be a guy that's on the decline, or can you revive yourself by having a masterful performance against a guy like Rolly and take another ride to the top? Right. So we'll see. But I got my money on Rolly too. But I think that stylistically, Rolly not somebody that Teo can't find in the ring.
Who do you got for the Teofimo Lopez versus Rolly Romero fight?
I got Teo. Me and Teo, actually this camp, we hit Mount Charleston together. We ran, went to go get brunch. Really we're just speaking on some just future stuff and just like our business endeavors. And he's really smart. I know he has his antics and different stuff like that, but he really knows like how to market himself. So shout out to Teofimo. I'm really looking on his comeback as well, because his last outing he came up short with Shakur, but it's the fight game. Not everybody can hold their O. So I'm excited to see Teo and hopefully he gets that knockout.
Oddsmakers view Teofimo Lopez as a massive, undisputed favorite to coast to an easy decision win. But if you talk to the guys who actually bleed in the gym, the world champions, the trainers, the insiders, they are quietly backing Rolando Rolly Romero to pull off a stunning, brutal upset.
Teo, I don't think he has the physicality at 147 pounds. No, at 135, he was a monster. He loses, he goes to 140, and he put together a great performance against Josh Taylor, but, he hasn't really hurt anybody at 140. I think that Rolly found something in the Ryan Garcia fight. To fight a disciplined fight like that for 12 rounds against a talent like Ryan Garcia was impressive to me. I know Pitbull smoked him, and maybe that was a style thing, but I can remember during the Tank fight, I watched that fight, and for 5.5 rounds, he was getting the better of Tank. And it wasn't because Tank was allowing him to get the better of him, even though Tank kind of fights like that. It was a thing like, I got to be careful running up in here on this guy because this dude can hurt you. And last but not least, he used his jab that last fight. Although Teofimo is the better all-around fighter, I think that Rolly is riding high right now, and he's feeling himself, and he's coming off of a career best win. And I think Teofimo was just completely shut out by Shakur Stevens. His confidence is probably a little bit shaky right now.
It's a jarring divide. On paper, Teofimo is the technically superior fighter with a glittering amateur background and world-class championship experience. Yet, the boxing underground is whispering that this welterweight clash is a massive trap. They see a highly dangerous stylistic nightmare waiting to unfold, where raw physics and hidden agendas might just shatter all the betting odds.
The truth is, Rolando Rolly Romero has no technique and no boxing skills. But what he does possess is power and unorthodoxness. Rolando Rolly Romero is a more athletic version of Marcos El Chino Madonna. They're not very skilled, but they use these awkward, unorthodox angles and timing to go along with their brutal power and heavy brick hands it makes it extremely difficult for your traditional boxer to counter. Teofimo Lopez could be in serious trouble. What y'all think? Who you got?
Let's look at the harsh physical reality of this fight. Teofimo is leaping up 7 pounds to the 147-pound welterweight limit, a division where he has zero proof that his punching power will carry over. Sure, Teofimo dominated Raleigh in sparring sessions years ago, but boxing analyst Sean Zittel has pointed out a fatal flaw in clinging to that history. They were lightweights back then. Today, Romero is the natural welterweight. He possesses significantly greater bone density, a noticeably larger frame, and devastating one-punch knockout power at this weight class.
I spoke to both fighters leading up to this fight. Rolly is convinced that he is Teo's big brother. He's correct in the sense of physically, he is the bigger man, even though he doesn't have a longer reach. He's not taller, but through the shoulders and just through the weight itself as a welterweight, he is the bigger man. He is the stronger man. He is the bigger puncher. And despite not fighting in 15 months, he has a little bit more momentum right now and is riding higher than Teofimo Lopez, who's in another chapter in his career at welterweight and doesn't look particularly big at welterweight. We'll see what we get on the scales. So Jim Lampley noted continuously in his upset of Ryan Garcia his musculature at welterweight. So he's the bigger, stronger guy, I think, and the bigger puncher heading in. He's also always had underrated speed because when you talk about him being explosive, explosiveness isn't just power, it's speed as well. And the reason why Rolly's been an overachiever starting late at 17 is he has some tremendous natural gifts. On the other side, I talked to Teo, and the game plan he laid out, Raheem, in my interview with him about a week or so ago was perfect. It was actually the game plan I hatched in my head. He's got to use his jab. He has to be first and last in this fight. He has to initiate with his jab, draw out the counter punches of Rolly, because Rolly is being more of a counter puncher now. When he commits to shots, he even said in my interview, sometimes it's hard for me to be coordinated, and that's why I'm awkward. I'm so explosive that when I punch, it's almost like I'm uncoordinated, aka off balance. Teo has to bait him out to go off balance and commit and then do what he does best, and that's counter punch. But the technical problem and the question for Teo in this fight, again, as the smaller man, as the man who's only had one knockout in about 6 or 7 years, and that was against Pedro Campa, is will he be disciplined enough to stick to a game plan of fighting behind his jab, or will he commit and get timed? Will he punch naked like Shakur Stevenson and other patient fighters have made him do?
Even Romero's veteran trainer, Ismael Salas, has openly stated that packing on the extra pounds has actively cost Lopez his signature foot speed and explosive burst. Without that sudden twitch movement, Teofimo is walking right into the firing line of a much bigger man.
You look at Teofimo Lopez as a more difficult opponent than Ryan Garcia was?
Yeah, maybe this depends. You know, it's time to make a fight. Mm-hmm. This is all about. I can tell you right now what we have to do, but it will be a great fight, very interesting fight. Many people are saying to me like Teo is overwhelming Rolly, but if you can see Teo the last fight against Shakur, I think age start to giving some problem to Teo. Even I can see, I know him very, very young. His muscle start to change. You remember, he's 140 guys moving up to 147. So already Rolly showed he's a real solid 147. Mm-hmm. And Teo is the guy who will go up to 147. So I don't like to be a big talk and big mouth because I concentrate how is the way we can beat him on next August 22nd. So for sure we will work hard. We will be focusing what we have to do. And just let's wait for the time coming up.
In what way have you seen age affect Teofimo? Are you saying his speed, his reflex?
Yeah, yes, his speed. Even, I telling you the truth. If you like to know when the fighter start to get age, as a fighter, no biological age, as a fighter, you can see his legs. Teofimo show in the last fight, his legs are...
Size alone doesn't win fights, but absolute awkwardness absolutely ruins them. Max Kellerman highlighted a crucial dynamic. Rolly fights with an ugly, entirely unorthodox style. He throws heavy hands from off-rhythm angles that traditional boxers simply aren't trained to anticipate.
Guys, look, here's the thing about Rolly, man. You can say whatever you want about him. The dude has rocks in his hands. That's just, some guys are heavy-handed. They don't have to get their body behind everything, right? There's different kinds of punching power. There's guys who do it with speed where you don't see it, right? Manny Pacquiao, like a lightning strike. There are other guys who hit you, and wherever they hit you, there's just something about the way their bone structure, their fist, their whatever it is, they can generate power without having to do what other fighters have to do. That's Rolly, so he always has a puncher's chance. But Gabe, he's in against a guy who can box, who's lightning fast.
Yeah, man.
And also is explosive in Teo.
No, absolutely. I was leaning towards Rolly in the beginning, right? But now I'm switching up, man. I like what I see in Teo, man. And I think him having the conversation with his father is going to make a difference in the camp and what he got to do going into that fight against Rolly.
We're going to get into Teo and his dad in a little bit. What do you think, Kyle?
What I think is it's really rare that you see somebody coming off of a comprehensive lopsided loss, the kind that Teofimo had against Shakur Stevenson, and then fighting a legitimately tough challenger in Rolly Romero in the next fight. In this day and age of boxing, you don't see that very often. So I hope we see more of it, and I think Teofimo, it's good for him. He needs to be able to get up for a fight.
And former title challenger Gabe Rosado boldly backed this up, predicting that Romero's uniquely bizarre mechanics are built perfectly to exploit Lopez's worst habits.
Shady were here today, he'd be saying something unflattering about Rolly. But the bottom line is, as we saw against Ryan Garcia, Rolly is unconventional and has heavy hands. And I get why some people are less than blown away by him, because he has a kind of, at best, basic style. That's when he's fighting well, I think. Oh, he's doing kind of basic things well. And when it doesn't look as good, it's kind of an awkward, ugly style. However, if you take a good shot, and you're tough, and you're in condition, and you do certain basic things, and you have heavy hands, and you're unconventional, so the shots are coming in from awkward angles, Gabe, that's kind of a dangerous fight for anyone to take.
Absolutely, man, and he's a big puncher. It's a dangerous fight for Teo. I favor Rolly by a little bit, to be honest with you.
Hold on, what? Say that again?
Yeah, I do. I favor Rolly by a little bit.
Turn to the camera. You favor Rolly Romero?
Yes, I do.
To beat Teofimo Lopez.
And I'm a fan of both fighters. Both fighters are great. But
do you understand what seat you're sitting in, by the way?
Listen,
I'm favoring. This is Malik Scott's seat, by the way. Normally, and Malik Scott. I don't think it's him, actually. I think it's the
chair,
seat.
yeah.
That's my Philly bro. That's my Philly bro.
Yeah, maybe it's a Philly thing. But that chair jinxes everyone who sits in that chair makes a bad prediction.
Popeye, though.
We've seen Teofimo abandon his strict fundamentals before, relying entirely on raw athleticism to get him out of trouble. Rosado warns that if Lopez tries that same trick here, Rolly's unpredictable clubbing counterpunches will instantly punish those lapses. It's the kind of stylistic clash that turns a technical chess match into a violent car crash.
Rolly will make him pay because Rolly is fundamental. He's a disciplined fighter. Rolly, he'll just do the same thing over and over if it's working. He's not gonna switch it up on you. So that's what I like about Rolly.
So Teo is a 2 to 2.5 to 1 favorite. It's minus 230 for Teo, and Rolly's plus one, high ones, right? 178. So it's about a 2 to 1-ish kind of fight. You're picking the upset. You pick the upset.
For sure.
Later on, we're going to watch Tyson Burbick retrospective, and he's going to pick Burbick to win. I don't know, guys. This guy, Trevor Burbick, I think he has something for Tyson.
And the only reason I say is it's just mentally I want to see where Teo's at. Athletic-wise, skill-wise, Teo's the guy. He's really that guy. But mentally, is he going to make those adjustments, especially coming off a tough loss?
Yeah, I think it depends on how dangerous he thinks Rolly is.
And it wasn't just a tough loss. It was it was, you know, he got beat up pretty bad. He had cuts over his face, so it wasn't just a simple loss.
Yeah, I think when Teo feels that the guy in front of him is a threat, he fights his best.
For sure.
It just Shakur's going to do that to everyone, right? Like, you know, it's just Teo's one of the guys on the list. But the question really for me is, does Teo look at Rolly as a threat? If he does, then I expect to see the best version of Teo. What do you see?
Perhaps the most surprising twist in this matchup is the sudden shift in mental focus. Boxing coach Hackett dropped a heavy accusation recently, questioning Lopez's current hunger and suggesting he is strictly fighting for the money now rather than securing his legacy. While Teofimo's motivation is being heavily scrutinized, Romero has quietly undergone a massive evolution.
But when it comes to that fight, I'm picking Rolly. I like Rolly for sure.
Yeah. I'd be surprised too how much you be tapped in while coaching. I ain't gonna lie, but you like Rolly in the fight.
Yeah.
Why?
I seen from Rolly, he's becoming better as far as his discipline. He's keeping his hands up high. His decision making is better, and I think Teofimo is right now. He's just fighting for the money. I don't think it's about legacy. I don't think it's about getting better. I think it's strictly about money now. So because it's strictly about money, his heart isn't fully in it, and I think Rolly Romero is going to run down. I think he's going to punish him, and I could be wrong.
Yeah. So you feel like you feel like Rolly's progressing while Teal's not.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you feel like that fight goes the distance?
Yeah, it could, but yeah, I feel like it go the distance.
Yeah. What kind of fight do you feel like it's gonna be? Do you feel like it'll be a war, or do you feel like you just see Teofimo Lopez more in the back foot trying to box?
He definitely going to box Rolly. There's no point in him sitting there trying to rip with Rolly. Rolly will tear his head off. But I think Rolly will catch up to him within time. Rolly, like I said, is getting better. He's working on his game, and I've seen it. And you know, I think by the time they fight, Rolly he'll be ready. Like an 8-4 Rolly.
Sean Porter has praised Raleigh's newfound discipline, crediting trainer Ismael Salas for transforming a wild, reckless slugger into a patient, calculating counterpuncher. Romero proved against Ryan Garcia that he can stick to a brilliant strategic game plan without losing his cool. If Lopez is stepping into the ring just to collect a paycheck, he is facing a highly disciplined, vastly improved predator who is hungry for a defining career victory.
How does that figure out in the fight? Now that Rolly's more patient, and patience is what gives Teo more problems instead of opening up like Rolly used to, which allows Teo to do what he does best, counterpunch you.
Right.
But if Rolly's not giving a lot to counterpunch, he's actually trying to counterpunch you.
Right.
So Silas is coming with the Cuban facade, right? And I'm past the Cuban facade, right? So with Silas, I really dug in, and I'm like, okay, let me find the whole lineage and the history and all that kind of stuff. This dude is well traveled.
Yes.
This dude has worked with everybody from the lowest weights to the highest weights. He's truly has game plan and gotten guys to finish lines. He's a great coach. You know that Rolly's going to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Teofimo's not the same way. He doesn't have a dad who's well traveled. He doesn't have a dad who's dug into other styles and techniques and coaches and so on and so forth. For me, kind of like what I said about Boots, Teo's dad is going to train Teo for everything that he's already trained Teo to do. And now Teo is going to be in a position where he's got to do some things a little bit differently, right? So to the point of a patient fighter. Well, you've struggled with patient fighters in the past because you were taught to be that explosive counterpuncher that can be first when you want to be first. But your rhythm is more of a counterpunching rhythm. And so when guys come in the ring and they in the middle of the ring waiting on him, now it becomes this waiting game because I have been trained to have this be first and then the techniques on what I do after I'm first. So that's the biggest adjustment that Teofimo, in my opinion, is going to have to make.
Not everyone is buying into the Raleigh hype, though. Elite trainers are furiously pushing back against the idea that power and size will trump pure skill. Brian Bomac McIntyre, the mastermind behind Terrence Crawford, bluntly predicts that Teofimo is going to absolutely dismantle Romero. Bomac insists that Lopez's world-class distance management and superior amateur pedigree will completely neutralize everything Raleigh tries to do.
Who's winning? Rolly versus Teofimo.
Teofimo gonna smash that dude. Okay. Tell me. I don't even know why they made that fight, man. They giving Teofimo another title, man.
Wow. Wow.
Teofimo Lopez Sr. has also aggressively shut down the upset rumors. He guarantees a lopsided affair, making it clear they aren't even hunting for a knockout. According to his father, Teofimo is going to put on a masterful boxing clinic, relying entirely on elite counterpunching to ensure Raleigh can't even touch him. To them, this isn't a brawl. It's an upcoming one-sided boxing lesson.
Tell me, man, what's the difference between a 140-pound Teofimo Lopez and now 147-pound Teofimo Lopez?
Well, he's going to be a better, faster fighter. I think that my son, I said this 5 years ago, once he goes through the weight divisions, I think at 147, 154, and 160, that's when he's going to do the best. I said this because I really understood the kind of fighter that he was at the age of 13, 14. He was beating up these guys that were fighting for world titles at, that small age, and these guys were like 20 pounds bigger than him. He could take a punch at this weight division. My son's never been rocked in none of his fights or wobbled, and I think that he's ready to take the 147 weight division. He's going to be fast. I think he should be able to do everything in less than 2 years, become undisputed. We have a great contract with the Zone directly with them. So I see him doing an amazing thing right now, especially, all of these fighters are going to be slower than him, and he's a really smart fighter in there. And people are going to see a lot of entertainment come August 22nd. This is his first fight, and he's coming straight to take the titles.
Rolly was pretty honest that he felt your son got the better of him in sparring, right? Does that mean anything in a real fight?
To me, it don't mean anything because, that was a long time ago. Every fighter has gotten better or gotten worse. So the only way we're going to find out is August 22nd, be at the T-Mobile Arena, and you're going to see something amazing. He's been looking really good in sparring, and I think he's ready.
The conflicting predictions ultimately boiled down to two entirely opposing blueprints. Teofimo himself plans to steal a page from the very fighter who recently handed him a tactical lesson, Shakur Stevenson. Lopez intends to use a highly disciplined outside boxing strategy, utilizing extreme patience, lateral movement, and high ring IQ to pick Romero apart from a safe distance. He wants to expose Raleigh's defensive gaps and coast to a comfortable victory.
Do you think you'll be a bigger puncher at 147 with the extra weight?
I believe I'm at the weight that I needed to be probably a year ago. So I'm right where I need to be. I'm walking around in at good weights at this moment. I feel strong. I feel fast as ever. And I think the most important part about this whole thing is really that what I did at 135 is what I see at 147. My mind is really set on this, guys. I'm not going to lie. And when my mind is set on something, I go out there and I take it. So with all that being said, I'm going to beat the living dog shit out of Rolly Romero.
It's a family show. It's a family show.
Hey, Teo, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I'm being the living dog poop out of him.
There you go. That's much better. Much better. Yeah.
Hey, Teo.
Yeah, I think that's what people need.
Teo, what do you take from the fight with Shakur going into this camp that you can add to, perfect that against Rolly?
Honestly, I think it's just not leaning forward, right? So just moving my head more and just getting back to my abilities of being slick. People know me in the boxing world, and the amateurs, when growing up, they called me Slick Boxer Gordo, and it wasn't because of a name. It was because that's how slick I was.
Yeah.
I think just going back to that, and I'm grateful and thankful that we brought in Milton LaCroix. That's someone that had a stick throughout the whole time, but things happened. But now we're back. We're back better than ever. I feel great. Head movement is on point, and I think if you can't hit somebody, then you can't win a fight. And I think that's really what I took from this. I really want to thank Shakur, honestly, from the whole thing. I think this is great for everybody in the sport of boxing. Win, lose, or draw. When you fight the best, only the best outcomes are going to come out.
Yeah, listen.
But Romero has his own sinister trap set. Raleigh knows Teofimo historically panics when fighters completely refuse to let him establish his rhythm. Romero's entire game plan relies on relentless, suffocating pressure. By aggressively walking Teofimo down, cutting off the ring, and forcing him to fight entirely on the back foot, Raleigh intends to make Lopez incredibly uncomfortable until those heavy shots finally land.
What do you think about you guys getting together, being much more mature now, much more mature athletically, mentally, spiritually, just being different guys than you guys both experienced so many years ago? I mean, we're talking about almost 10 years ago.
I mean, dude, I mean, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, and I definitely hope he's not the same person as he was 10 years ago. So we can't really say anything about 10 years ago. Like, we just can't. Like, bro, like, nobody can say anything, bro.
Yeah. August 22nd, like we said, you guys are going to be in the ring versus one another. Um, have you envisioned how this fight is going to go? I mean, when you think about Teofimo Lopez and the attributes that Teofimo Lopez brings to the table, what type of fight do you think is in store for the fight fans?
Fireworks. You get two exciting punchers going at it in the center of Las Vegas at T-Mobile Arena. It's a great fight.
How do you think it ends?
Yeah.
Does it end? Does it end in a dramatic way? Does it end kind of because a lot of people don't realize how good you can box too? I talk to Bullet all the time. Coach Bullet has been talking about your boxing acumen. I mean, since way back when I first met you guys in 2021. Um, how
Apparently
much?
I can't box. Apparently I can't box.
Yeah.
The final pieces of this puzzle are the hidden wild cards that neither camp can fully control. Former champion Tim Bradley has raised a massive red flag regarding Romero's brutal 15-month layoff. After being out of the ring for well over a year, ring rust is a very real threat that could completely paralyze Romero's ability to capitalize on his size advantage. On the flip side, Lopez is battling a terrifying ticking clock. Podcast host and boxing analyst Aoi broke down a highly concerning trend. Teofimo struggles to carry his power and stamina late into fights. If Lopez fails to establish absolute dominance in the early rounds, his output is practically guaranteed to fade around round 7 or 8. That exact window is when a tiring Lopez will be most vulnerable to Romero's late fight-ending power.
What you make of Teofimo Lopez and Rolly Romero for the WBA strap at welterweight that's happening this weekend?
I got Tio. I think Tio should be able to outbox him. But I wouldn't be surprised if Rolly just catch him. If Rolly catch him on something, I wouldn't be surprised. But at the same time, I got Tio, bro. I think Tio just a better athlete and a better boxer all around, and I think he should be able to outbox him. But I wouldn't be surprised if Rolly does. If Rolly could catch him.
Yeah. So how entertaining do you feel like that fight is, and in the same time, how competitive do you think it is?
I think it's gonna be a very competitive and entertaining fight because they know each other. They cool with each other. And sometimes that make for the best fights, bro. Like usually when you do know people, it's like, you don't have to break the ice too much. You know what I'm saying? You could go out there and fight. A lot of people, they're like, oh, people say like we brothers, we not gonna fight. But when people they fight and they cool, that actually sometimes it makes for a really, really good fight because they know each other. They just, you're going all out. You know what I'm saying? They're not really, I don't think they should be worried about hurting each other. They probably know it's business and they're not gonna worry about that. And I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna be a real good fight.
Yeah. And you got Tio by decision.
Yeah, I got Tio by decision. I don't think he gonna stop him. I think if Rolly does win, I think he could stop him, but I got Tio by.
This matchup forces a definitive answer to boxing's oldest question. Can elite technique and pure pedigree survive against natural physical weight and raw, unadulterated power? The odds makers are banking heavily on the pedigree, expecting a tactical, easy decision, but the fighters in the gym are anticipating a brutal late-round collision. The moment these two finally meet in the center of the ring, someone's reality is going to shatter. The only question left is whether Teofimo outsmarts the trap, or if Raleigh drops the hammer and shocks the entire world. Who do you think wins this fight? Drop your predictions in the comments. That's all for today. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.